Welcome to everyone to a new video and another versus episode where we give you the best recoil and TTK builds between a Vanguard, Cold War or Modern Warfare weapon to see where each shines and give you a variety in long range possibilities as well as awareness to which weapons you might want to think twice about challenging out in the Warzone. Today's thumbnail should have been clear, so let's hop on to TTK comparisons right here. So the STG44 has two ways you can approach it for long range, with its barrels being the 620mm and the 760mm. Now, specifically for the 620mm, the M4A1 will beat this barrel out pretty much at any range, at any body part. You can beat the M4A1 using the 60 or 45 round mags, specifically hitting chest and headshots. This is within a 35 to 39 meter range, but beyond 40 meters is pretty much the M4A1's victory in a 1v1, specifically with the 620mm barrel. So the build for this barrel would be the MX silencer, of course the Krosnick 620mm precision barrel. Whatever sight you prefer, I like the G16 2.5x or the 1229 Slate 3.25x custom. I don't really like the 3 to 6x on the STG specifically. The Constance Tactical, Acrobatic, or whatever perk you really like to run here. Vital doesn't really help much, so stray away from that one, but I like Acrobatic because it really increases the movement. For this to be a long range AR, it's a fantastic change of pace. On hand or fully loaded, this is the taped grip build. If you feel that you need some extra control, which based on the recoil patterns you're seeing, you shouldn't really need much help, but if you do want, just go ahead and add something like the rubber grip, the hatched grip. Do not use the polymer because this build is an initial fire control build, so the polymer is going to kind of counteract that. You can run pine tar or stipple to get some. Well, stipple is really unnecessary either because you're already getting that initial fire rate control with the 7-0 recoil spread. So taped grip here, the magazine, whatever you prefer, and based on whatever magazine you choose, then go ahead and choose your underbarrel. If you're going with the 50 round, you could very well run the M1930 Strife Angled. It's a perfect combination with this. I did get a very nice recoil pattern with the carbon foregrip once. I don't know what happened. I didn't get it again because I was still getting that weird curvature. So the M1930 seemed to work perfectly here, so you can run this like that. If you run the 60, then go ahead and change up to maybe the carver because the 60 does have way more vertical because it is more bullets and it has less control inherently in it. And if you're running the 45, the carbon foregrip will help you with the visual part of it because this magazine specifically kicks a little bit too much from bullet to bullet. So there you have the 620mm STG44 build. For the 760mm barrel, the STG will beat the M4A1 at range when using the 60 or 45 rounds specifically for chest shots. The M4A1 will beat it out in all other body parts at range, so it's a pretty close one in regards to TTK, and it really all depends on where you're landing your shots. So for the VDD 760mm barrel, which is of course the first part we'll talk about, the MX silencer, the barrel we just said, whatever optic you prefer, the Constance Tactical, Acrobatic, or whatever perk one you want, on hand or fully loaded. Rear grip is taped grip in this case as well. You can, if you want a better recoil pattern, you can run the polymer grip in this specific barrel setup, or whatever attachment you prefer in the rear grip. Lengthened, and then pretty much mix and match whatever you really enjoy with this specific set of categories. With the magazine, if you want a faster fire rate, go with the 50. More bullets, go with the 60. A little more damage and bullet velocity and penetration, go with the 45. And then based on whatever you choose, make sure you choose the underbarrel that compensates for the weakness. Bear in mind that the 50 is a little bit more consistent, so whatever you want to run, if you're running this, is perfectly fine. The 60 will kick the weapon up vertically a little bit more, and the Russian has way more visual recoil and kick, and it is a lower vertical overall, but pretty much choose whatever feels best for you, and you should be successful with this build. But there you have the VDD 760mm STG44. So for the M4A1 builds, we're going to be running the monolithic suppressor, of course, because this is for range. Now we have two options for the barrels. We can run the Corvus Custom Marksman or the stock M16 Grenadier. The reason I go with the Corvus Custom Marksman is because of the consistency with the recoil pattern. As you can see from the recoil patterns here, if you're running the stock M16 Grenadier, you're getting a weird curvature in the pattern, which I personally don't like. You could very well do so. Give it a try, and what feels better for you, you can go with that. But this is the build I preferentially like. But this is a build I like, and so we can run with this with the 60 or the 50 round mag. I like the rubberized grip tape because the same effect you get from the barrel you get if you add a commando foregrip. I really didn't test the operator or the ranger because The weapon doesn't have a difficult to control recoil pattern, but so I don't want to add an attachment that slows my aim down sight speed any further. And so I would run the commando foregrip in any case, but the recoil you get from it, it gives you that weird curvature again, and you can test it out and check it for yourself. So I like the rubberized grip tape and the Corvus. This gives a consistent recoil pattern. I really like it for range. And then whatever sight you prefer, I like the integral hybrid. Of course, you can go with the VLK 3x optic. This is totally personal preference. Another build I like to run specifically for rebirth is dropping the sight and running a tac laser. This one gives you also a very accurate recoil pattern, and I really like the iron sights on the M4A1, which if you haven't seen the best iron sights in my opinion in Warzone, go ahead and click on the video up top here. But there you have a combination of the best M4A1 builds. And now I want to know your opinion. Who do you think the winner is in today's versus episode? Let me know in the comments below, as well as what your favorite class setup for the M4A1 or STG44 is. Make sure you let me know if there is another weapon you'd like to see a versus episode for. And in my opinion, I would say this episode is a tie. Now, I think that you can get a fantastic time to kill with a couple of different varieties in the magazines for the M4A1, but I do think that the STG44 has variety and movement on its side, so I think these are very close contenders to that first place. So I'll leave it at a tie for today, but let me know in the comments what you think. We've got more versus episodes on the way, so subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single one. Are you wondering what the best slow firing AR is between the Bar and the Odin? Then click on the video at the end to watch that and decide for yourself. With nothing else left to say, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and through it all, I hope you always remember,
Let's go!
Sauce Time Gaming.